Welcome back to the Get Off the Treadmill podcast for small business owners and entrepreneurs, where we show you how to build a successful business and to have a life too. We're going to dive into another topic that helps us make more money in less time and to get off the treadmill so we can experience a life of significance. And now, your host and the author of the #1 best-selling business book, Making Money is Killing Your Business, Chuck Blakeman.
Hi, and welcome back to the Get Off the Treadmill podcast. I'm Chuck Blakeman, and today we're going to talk about how to never ask for a referral again and get more referrals because you don't. This will be a short podcast. I have a lot of short podcasts, you might notice, because as I've worked with small business owners over the decades, I've found that there are some principles that are so important that they should be pulled out and separated from everything else. I found that there's principles, practices, and tools that are so good and so concise that it just makes sense to pull them out one at a time and play with each one of them, because if we lump them together, you would just get overwhelmed. So we're going to talk about how to never ask for a referral again and get more business as a result. In the last few podcasts, we've been talking all about the mechanics of how to actually be with someone who you would like to see become a customer. First, we talked about how to set an appointment and the importance of figuring that out, the simple process to do that. Then we talked about your walking in commitments, the 4 walking in commitments. And then we went through the 4 buying questions that you would actually ask as you're in a meeting with someone, and how critical it is that we ask these questions to show how much we care and to flip the conversation from what are you selling to, hey, I want to buy. Today, we're going to talk about how to not ask for a referral and at the same time really help the people that you're working with and get referrals by not asking. So let's dive right in. We've got a question that we've developed over the years. It's kind of the don't ask for a referral question that will get you a lot of referrals. We've worked on this question for years, really a decade and a half at least, in massaging exactly what we should say in order to find other customers through the people you already know. One of the problems with referrals is it's very self-centered. It feels that way. It sounds that way. Hey, do you know anybody who might want to do business with me? Because I'm great. And there's so many things wrong with that. We'll parse them out a little bit. But we want to do something completely different. Get yourself out of the center of this thing and get your customer and their friends into the center of it. So here's the question that we've developed over the years. And for the last 6 or 8 years, we haven't changed it. It seems like it works really well for everybody. I'll give you the question, and then we'll break it down and show you why this question works and the psychology behind it. So the question is this. You're sitting in one of these meetings. You've made your appointment. You did your walking in commitments as you walked into the meeting. You did your 4 buying questions to flip the script so that they would buy and you wouldn't have to sell. And maybe toward the end, or maybe at some other time that doesn't have anything to do with one of those buying conversations, you want to ask somebody for a referral. Here's how I would do it by not asking for the referral. I would ask this question. Do you know one other person who might benefit from the experience you're having? Or if they haven't had it yet, do you know one other person who might benefit from the experience you're going to have with me? Or if they're done, that you had. So whatever tense the relationship is in, that's where you'd want to ask the question. Let's just assume that they're in the conversation with you, that they're signing up, or that they may already be clients of yours, and you want to see who else they might know. Don't ask them who else they might know. Ask them this question. Do you know one other person who might benefit from the experience you're having or will have? Let's parse that. Let's do that in slow motion, because here's what happens neurologically in our brains with questions like this. The first piece of this question, do you know? Oh man, I got to know something. I'm not that ignorant. I'm not that ill-informed. I know things. Do you know? Of course I know. That's a positive thing to start with. Do you know? The second piece is, do you know one other person? Man, I'm not that lonely. Of course I know one other person. That's easy. So you've got them engaged. Yeah, I know stuff, and I know at least one other person. Yeah, keep going. One of the problems with the traditional referral is too often we say, do you know anybody or somebody or 3 people? And the fact is, if you ask for 3 people, you're likely to get none. If you ask for 1, you might get 3. Because again, neurologically in my brain, I can't find 3 people at once. It just is too hard. But if you give me a very concrete example of 1 person, and I find that person in my brain, guess what? There's probably somebody right beside them in my brain. And I say, oh yeah, that reminds me of, and you might get 2 or 3 referrals, but don't ask anybody, somebody, or 2 or 3. Do you know 1 other person? You can always ask them again. Do you know 1 other person after that? So that's the second piece. Do you know 1 other person? The third piece is, do you know 1 other person who might benefit? Oh, that reminds me, the way Chuck does business, and the way he conducted this meeting with me with the 4 buying questions, he's not going to try to sell them anything. He actually is going to serve them. They might benefit, they might not. And I can relax. I can send people to Chuck because he's not going to gang up on them and try and sell them stuff. They might benefit, they might not. And I'm fully comfortable sending them his way because of the way I experienced Chuck. So that's great. They might benefit. He's going to figure out how to serve them. And if they benefit, he's going to help them get there. And I'm comfortable that if they're not going to benefit, he's going to send them to the person that would be able to serve them. So that's the third piece. Do you know 1 other person who might benefit? The fourth piece is, do you know 1 other person who might benefit from the experience you're having or will have or have had? Do you know 1 other person who might benefit from the experience you're having? And what happens neurologically when they hear that, from the experience you're having? Do you know 1 other person who might benefit from the experience you're having? I'm having a great experience. I'm really comfortable with what Chuck is doing. And it would be crazy of me to not share that with my friends. Of course, I'll share that. I would love others to have the experience I'm having. I don't want to keep that to myself. I want to share that. So that's what's going on in our brains when this happens. Do you know 1 other person who might benefit from the experience you're having? This allows people to think about, how can I help my friends, rather than how do I give Chuck a referral? That's not what I'm asking. I'm asking, hey, if this is working for you, do you know anybody else that you would want to share this with, who would benefit from the experience you're having? That puts us in a different place than me trying to sell stuff. So you can see how this is kind of the anti-referral question. I'm not asking you to give me somebody. Do you know 3 people, anybody, somebody who I could talk to about my stuff? It's about me and my products. No, let's do it the other way around. Do you know 1 other person who might benefit from the experience you're having? One woman I asked this question of, who had been working with me for a month or 2, said, Chuck, you're so easy to refer to. And I was curious, why am I so easy to refer to? And she said, because you're not going to sell anybody anything. You're just going to find out what they need. And if what they need matches what you have to offer, you'll offer that to them, but you won't sell it to them. And if it doesn't fit them, I'm comfortable that you'll send them to somebody that would actually benefit them. So it's a really easy referral because you're going to treat them just like you treated me. So that's the question. Let's memorize that question. I encourage you to do that. 20 or 30 years ago, when I was learning things from other people, I would instantly always try to adapt it and make it my own right away. Well, that's great, but let me come up with half that question and I'll come up with the other. I learned actually that it was much more beneficial. I learned more, and I actually got more creative about how to change things I learned from other people by not changing them to begin with, but running them exactly like I learned them, because they had worked on them for a while. It was their experience. And I just learned that if I just use what they taught me to begin with, that will lead me to however I might want to adapt it for myself. You might find yourself coming up with a very different question, adapting this a little bit, or just staying with it. I would encourage you to memorize this question and use it with people you are wanting to get a referral from and see how it works. So let's address when we should ask for a referral. There's at least 3 times that you should ask for a referral. One would be the first time you work with somebody, first time you meet with somebody, while they're buying from you, as they're handing you the application. That's a great time to ask for a referral. A lot of times we back off and I'd say, well, I just want to get through this and I don't want to pressure them. Again, you're not pressuring them. You're just asking them if they know somebody else they might want to help. That's all you're asking. It's a wonderful time to do it because, again, psychologically, I want to know that I made the right decision. And as a result of that, that's the time I am most likely to want to refer others. I want to see others do what I did. It affirms my decision, and I'm so comfortable with my decision, I want others to have it as well. So when you're just signing up a new customer, that's a great time to ask for a referral because they are really wanting all of their friends to do what they did. Another great time to ask for a referral that you might not consider is when you've actually messed up. Not when you mess up, but after you fix what went wrong. And if you're doing this right, when you mess up and you fix it, you will fix it in a way that is really noticeable. I would say to clients in our fulfillment business who would be with us for years, I would say to them at the beginning of the relationship, I want you to know we're human and we are going to mess up. It's going to happen. It's not if, it's when. So I want you to know that. We're not perfect, but what I want you to know is this: when, and not if, when we mess up, we're going to fix it in a way that you're going to love. It's going to be very noticeable, and you're going to be really happy with the way that we fixed it. We're going to go out of our way to fix things that we do wrong. And we would. And that's a great time to ask for a referral because everybody's human. Whether they want to admit it or not, we all have these times where it doesn't go the way it's supposed to. Fix it really well. And that is a great time to ask for a referral because it reminds them of how good you are. They've kind of gotten used to it, over the weeks or the months or even the years. They just expect great service. But when you mess up and you come back with a really great way to fix it, it reminds them of how good you are. A third time to ask for a referral is when someone is done. If you've worked with them well and you've been faithful and you've gotten them where they need to go, there's more often than not a time when it's time for them to move on. And if you're really watching, you might even suggest it. That would surprise them. Hey, feel like you've gotten everything or most everything you need to get out of this product or this relationship or this service that we're providing. And would it be a time for us to think about sending you on to somebody else that can help you with this kind of thing that I can't? Or just ask them, hey, how's this going? Are you ready to keep moving on? Give them the opening. But when they're leaving, it's a great time to ask for a referral from people who have had a great 3 months, 6 months, 5 years, 10 years with you. Wonderful time because they're reminiscing again. And psychologically, again, they want to know they made the right decision and they want to help you. They truly do want to help you. So that's a great third time is when they're leaving. And then the fourth time is any other time. Don't be afraid to ask somebody to bless their friend at any time. Whenever it comes up, don't force it, obviously, but too often we're afraid to ask because, again, the way that we're asking is help me, make me more successful, give me people, give me your people, trust me with your people. And this is not that kind of thing. You should be much more comfortable asking when you say, do you know one other person who might benefit from the experience I'm having? Yeah, let me send you over here. As a client, I might regularly have thoughts about who I could give to the person that I'm working with, but I'm not with them at the time. And for them to ask me, hey, just wanted to know if you had one other person you might know right now, might come to mind that you would want to have this experience. It's amazing how often that happens. Oh, yeah. A couple of weeks ago, I thought about John, and I was going to send you John. I forgot to. You'd have missed out on that if you didn't ask for a referral. So 4 times to not ask for a referral. First, when they are just coming on board. Second, when you've messed up and you've fixed it. Third, when they're leaving. And fourth, any other time. Don't be afraid to ask them to help their friends. You don't ask for a referral, you just ask them to help their friends. Remind them of how well it's going and ask them if they know one other person who might benefit from the experience you're having. I guarantee you this will work so much better than the traditional referral question, and you will get more people from it because you have done it this way. I'll see you in the next podcast. Thanks.
That wraps up another episode of the Get Off the Treadmill podcast. If you found this podcast helpful, please subscribe and hit the like button to ensure you are receiving the latest tools you need to grow your business and to get off the treadmill. If you want more information on the 3 to 5 Club, the Crankset Group, or to book Chuck as a business advisor, speaker, or workshop leader, you can contact us at grow@cranksetgroup.com. Until next time, have a great week.